where Nwagaba, Katende Bernard, Sambwa Cyrus Kasato, and Zimla Dennis. Sambwa Cyrus Kasato is one person, Honorable Speaker.
Okay.
The abductees were taken to Kakiri Army Barracks, where they were tortured, and the fall released safe for Zimla and Wangolo. This abduction was witnessed by the area residents and an authoritative source, the Elson chairperson, Mr. Mwanje Richard. Honorable Speaker, neither records have proved the existence of Mr. Wangolo, contrary to the minister's claim that he is fictitious, that he has never existed. Last, Honorable Speaker, Mr. Semuddu Michael Jackson. The kidnap case of Mr. Semuddu was reported by his relative, Mr. Kafero Michael, at Old Kampala Police Station under that reference on 26th of November 2020. His credentials at NIRA show that he was registered under that number. Honorable Speaker, I sampled this to tell you, to settle the matter that the victims of disappearance were fictitious, and the prayer you shall make to this house subsequently will be to eventually have occasion to situate and locate the others and confirm their existence, including the video clips I'll submit for the attention of the House. Honorable Speaker, excuse me. Officials of government claiming responsibility for missing persons. Honorable Speaker, I also bring to your attention and that of the House that some government leaders, including cabinet ministers, such as the Honorable Judith Nabakoba, are on record claiming responsibility for some of the missing persons. During a church service at St. Andrew's Cathedral, Namukozi in Mityana, in the presence of the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Honorable Nabakoba said she was aware of some opposition supporters who were abducted during elections. And when the families of these people approached her at her home in Kalangalo, she was able to secure their freedom, the freedom of the victims from Mukireka SIU. She comes as a very useful witness in establishing the security layers involved in committing these heinous crimes, right, Honorable Speaker. And I will submit her video and voice record on that matter, right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, in Nansana, one Yusuf Mugaga, an NRM leader, is implicated by the community in several abduction cases. He offered to secure the release of Mustafa Luemba's freedom in exchange for a fee from his relatives. He went on to produce Luemba's national ID to demonstrate that he knew where he was being held. Mr. Yusuf Mugaga has accomplices at room 18 at CPS Kampala building, where they coordinated the ransom and abduction conspiracies. The other officials implicated in the conspiracies are Champs Sub-County Giso, Mr. Swipe, Mr. Kafuma Twaha, chairperson of Kabembe, the former minister Ronald Chibule, and the former RDC Fred Bamwine, among others. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the House should use this information to interrogate the activities of these individuals and come to a conclusion as to their role, whether they were being helpful or conspirators. Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on claims that security forces used reasonable force during operations, on countless occasions, security forces have been captured on camera, torturing and beating up subdued non-combatants. On November 6, 2022, heavily armed security operatives cruising a numberless Toyota Hiace minivan famously known as a drone sealed off Gladiator Paradise in Masanaf, Lubaga Division, where they indiscriminately beat up revelers who were watching a Premier League football match. In the scuffle, Kavuma Jamshid, a member of the security detail of the opposition NUP party president, was subdued, handcuffed, and shot as he inquired about the basis of his arrest. I refer the House to the BBC documentary entitled Drones, the Vans That Take People Away, dated 13th February 2023. I have attacked that record, Honourable Speaker. On November 18th, 2021, Honourable Speaker, Sheikh Chilevu, a Muslim cleric, was subdued as recounted by his wives, Amina Nabada and Sophia Nakachwa, handcuffed and shot dead. In sight of his children, despite peacefully submitting to the arresting officers to take him for prosecution. I refer the House to the URN report titled Family Disputes Police Narrative on Killed Sheikh Chilevu. Right, Honourable Speaker, the evidence of his killing was all over the place and the circumstances. On May 8th, 2023, Hamid Muyodi, an NUP supporter, was shot in the thigh inside a Toyota Hiace minivan that contained JAT officers who had come to arrest him for unsubstantiated allegations. The security officer who shot Muyodi was neither charged nor court-martialed as demanded by the law. But the Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson, Luke Owesigire, described the tragedy as an accident. Right, Honourable Speaker, we're waiting for a report of the occurrence of that accident inside the van. Right, Honourable Speaker, not forgetting the March 2019 extrajudicial murder of Ronald Sebulime, who was handcuffed and shot while in the custody of police in a police patrol, alongside several security-inspired terror against members of the Fourth Estate, the media, and the peaceful protesting media, medical interns, and doctors that have occupied a fair share of this year. The excess brutality meted out on minors found at the Kawempe residence of Sheikh Yunus Kamoga is still fresh in our minds, Honourable Speaker. Relying on some of these cited incidents, Honourable Speaker, therefore, I strongly reject the position of government that security forces use reasonable force when conducting operations. I therefore insist that our report highlighting the security excesses was factual and premised on precedents, accounts of witnesses, and other credible sources who preferred anonymity for fear of reprisal. Right, Honourable Speaker. Right, Honourable Speaker and colleagues, on the issue of compensation talked about or mentioned in the report, it is on record that General Museveni pledged to compensate the bereaved families of some of the victims of the November 2020 riots, especially those he had categorized as non-rioters. 3 years later, nothing in that regard has been effected. He listed 3 names of the then missing 177 persons and directed his intelligence to publish the full list, a directive that has since been defied and downplayed. The report on November 2020 killings remains concealed from the public, to whom government should be accountable. Right, Honourable Speaker, I have attached the record of the 2021 18 November Human Rights Watch report entitled 1 Year Later, No Justice for Victims of Uganda's Lethal Crackdown. I've also attached a video evidence of the Commander-in-Chief directing the publication of that list, which has never appeared up to now. Right, Honourable Speaker, at a November 2022 UN Geneva Convention, the Attorney General of Uganda, the Honourable Kiwa Chwanuka, a man I hold in very high regard, lied before the delegates that they had compensated some victims of the protests, and they went on to cite Honourable Zake Francis and exiled NUP journalist Ashraf Kassidye as beneficiaries of the compensation scheme. On the contrary, the duo have publicly denied ever getting any penny from the government as compensation for the bodily harm they suffered at the hands of security. Honourable Speaker, I want to confirm on record that I was the attorney for Kasirye, and therefore his matter has never been compensated. His matter was handled by Justice Sekana, and the state has been playing games since. So it's never been conclusive, and so therefore no compensation. Honourable Speaker and colleagues, it is only through relentless efforts that some families of the deceased 15-year-old Amos Segawa have been awarded some meager compensation. Ms. Nachito, the mother, was awarded by Justice Musa Sekana 50 million shillings, which she complained to be too small for the life of her son, whose right to life was denied by the two-day November 2020 shooting spree. So I further have attacked the ruling in Ms. Jan's cause number 011122 of 2021, Hajara Nachito versus the Attorney General. It's full attached, Right Honourable Speaker. Therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, the claims that government has compensated the victims of the November 2020 protests are delusional and a naked lie that even the families of the victims can attest to. Therefore, it should not be kept on the record of Parliament, Right Honourable Speaker. Those who will come after us will never understand how we had that on record. Right Honourable Speaker, detecting registration number plates of vehicles with security missions. Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, I find totally impractical that the government, as by its statement, expects people to take records of registration number plates in tense circumstances when masked men, gunmen in drones have their fingers ready on the trigger. In July this year, security personnel of the Chief Military Intelligence traveling in a drone shot dead a 34-year-old Jacqueline Narwanga, a resident of Nakabogo village in Wakiso district. The deceased was on her way to her garden when she found herself entangled in a security operation and was killed just because she was about to witness an abduction operation. This implies that even if she had taken a record of the security vehicle, she would have been unable to she would be unable to live to tell the story as a witness. I refer the House to the July 25th, 2023 Daily Monitor report, which I have attached, entitled "Army Stray Bullets Kill Woman Going to Her Garden." Besides, security is fond of switching registration number plates upon accomplishing their missions. Right Honourable Speaker, this was evident in the tenure of Major General Muzei Sabiti as the Deputy Inspector General of Government, or Inspector General of Police, when his vehicle number plate was switched to a Toyota Hiace drone for an operation. This is the Deputy IGP switching number plates. Right Honourable Speaker. The police spokesperson Freddie Nanga came out in defense of the saga and stated that it is their tendency as security to switch number plates depending on the magnitude of the operation they intend to conduct. I also reflect on the various by-elections like Omoro, Soroti, Bukedi, among others, where security forces concealed their vehicle number plates with cow dung to evade detection.
Were you in a Bukedia to say that? Remove Bukedia from your list.
Right Honourable Speaker, the House receives a record for their processing, and the House will take occasion to consider what they drop and what they keep with your indulgence.
Much as I'm not supposed to defend my district, I am defending Bukedia was not involved.
Right Honourable Speaker, the House will take a record.
Yes,
and I'll make a determination.
Yes,
Right Honourable, this is the House of Record, being Parliament.